I have been since a couple of years very much concerned with the state of our planet and with the crisis that has been captured by the term of the Anthropocene. My name is Jürgen Renn. I'm director at the Max Planck Institute for the History of Science here in Berlin. And since a couple of months, I'm also director at the newly founded Max Planck Institute for Geoanthropology in Jena. The Anthropocene is the proposed new epoch of Earth's history, and the term has been proposed by Paul Crutzen, Nobel Prize winner in chemistry, director at the Max Planck Institute for Chemistry in Mainz in the year 2000. The Anthropocene itself is a concept that reaches much beyond geology. It's the time of the human impact. So naturally, you need many disciplines to actually deal with this concept. Humans are transforming geological time into historical time by making use of fossil fuels, for instance. On the other hand, they have become themselves a geological force. They have changed the climate in a most dramatic way, with probably no analog in Earth history. The date that is proposed now for the beginning of the Anthropocene from a stratigraphic point of view is just after the First World War, synchronous with the first atomic explosion, because they leave, a radioactive sediment all over the world. Science is very good at drilling deep holes and looking from a specialized angle at problems and understanding the mechanisms. But the Anthropocene is a concept that requires a different thinking. And I think artists are sometimes very good in capturing sort of this holistic perspective. This is an interaction between science and art that requires from the scientists an even more active transgression of their laboratory work into an exhibition that is understandable to the public. So let's see what we can discover here. It is the research that actually roots the Anthropocene in the sedimentary record. This is a peat core, and it shows clearly signals of the nuclear weapon tests. So you can really see some of the major events marking the Anthropocene in those core elements. Microplastics, as you find it in river or lake sediments, are of course clearly a product of human activity. And there was one surprise in which this microplastic was found in a layer, I think, from the beginning of the 19th century. So people didn't yet produce plastic, but the microplastic is so has such a tendency to spread that it even spoils the sedimentary record and goes into deeper layers. Which of course obfuscates the record, but it's still a sign of the profoundness and of the global impact that it has. It's my friend Bernd Scherer.
Hallo.
Bernd, jetzt gibt's ein historischen.
In the people we are working with already, we have quite a number of social political activists. So it's not just a knowledge which comes from academia and is being translated, so to say, in the political field or in the social field. The point which became very relevant in our Mississippi project was to see that on the one side, the Anthropocene is a planetary process. On the other side, it articulates itself in very specific historical contexts. And one has to have developed the sensibility to deal with the anthropocenical repercussions in these kind of concrete social contexts.
We were interacting with local activists, and not just, of course, bringing them some academic insights, but learning from them about sort of the local consequences and the local actions they are taking. So the Anthropocene discourse is really about knowledge in action. So when people ask about which overall direction we have to take in order to cope with the challenges of the Anthropocene, there are basically two answers. One is back to nature, and the other answer is a modernist answer. Let's govern nature even more. Let's promote technologies that, increase the control of humanity over nature. I personally think both will not work because we have so deeply interfered with the planetary system. That's the meaning of the Anthropocene, that there is no way back to nature. If we continue to interfere in the way we have done so in the past, this will lead to collapse. We have to stop for sure the use of fossil fuels. So we have to rethink our entire energy system, and not just nationally, but on a global level. It's very important that scientists from all over the world meet and discuss these problems. And they should do it in an open way, interacting also with the larger public. So I think the Berlin Science Week is a great event in which science is again center stage in a way, but has also to confront its responsibility for dealing with the challenges of this world. And it needs to be a broad, a global and a public discussion. So I very much cherish these events, even though they require a lot of traveling, which is increasing our carbon footprint. But some of these discussions actually need personal encounters, in particular for the younger people. They need to have the opportunity to network, to meet people from other parts of the world and talk about not just their specialties, but the kind of global problems that are connected to the Anthropocene. We know enough to act. I mean, there's no reason that we have to wait for further knowledge about climate change to act upon it. It's absolutely necessary to act quickly and to act thoroughly and to concentrate all our energies to prevent this global climate crisis.